Hello. We are back.
Hi.
Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. This is season 6, episode 9 of There's Layers to This. I'm your host, Valerie. We also have Creatress and, of course, our special guest today, Denichi and Outobody, joining us. We have not had our show for about a month, but that's all because we've been traveling. We've been traveling, doing things. But we're coming back. We're coming back. But yeah, we're super excited to have our episode today. Please take some time to like it, comment, and share so other people can see. We would appreciate it. But let's start with our intros. We do have an agenda today where we're going to talk about some space news. And then we're going to get into some East Denver memories and experiences, a couple of shout outs, and then we'll close the show. So we have a good show today. But if you're new here, hello, my name is Valerie, aka V Dizzle. I've been in the space since May of 2021, so it's been a few years. I got started with my very first NFT was gifted to me that I won in a giveaway directly from Gary V. My NFT shot up on OpenSea for $140,000. I could have sold it for. I didn't sell because I was new to the space. I didn't know that things go up and things go down. I didn't know that there were cycles, but it's okay. That NFT led me to an incredible community within V Friends project, and then that led me down so many different pathways and journeys. But ultimately, it led me to start a meetup group here in San Diego called San Diego NFT Friends, where I host monthly meetups, typically with speakers or panelists, and we have free food and free drinks. So actually stay tuned if you're in town or visiting. Saturday, April 12th, we are collabing with Stand With Crypto, and we're going to have a Web3 Easter egg hunt. So there will be some fun stuff, so stay tuned with that. But I also run a Web3 event company called Red Rug Edutainment, and I typically do a lot of these meetups or workshops or side events to a lot of the bigger conferences. So that's a little bit about me if you're new here, but I'll bring it over to Creatress for her intro.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, super excited. We had a bit of a little hiatus, but we're back. For anyone who doesn't know me, I go by Creatress. My name is Sara E, and I am a 3D artist. I'm actually a multidisciplinary artist, but 3D sculpting is the thing that I focus on the most. And I love being around people. I love connecting with people. So my art practice has evolved into a performance art, which happens in front of a live audience and is all about connecting with the audience, with the energy in the room, which also includes music. My dear friend here out of body is a musician, a really very talented musician. So we have collaborated on many occasions to perform together and for me to create sculptures based on his live music. So that is what I'm most known for in Web3 and in the art world at this time. But I can also do glass blowing, I can do jewelry, I can do merch design as I've shown off before, and Ada and Danny have worn the merch that I've designed as well as Dizzle. So my artistic desires go many different ways. So, in terms of Web3, I got to Web3 via coins. So, before NFTs, there were cryptocurrencies that sparked my interest: XRP, then Doge, then Ethereum, and then when I learned about NFTs on Clubhouse in 2021, I was completely sold, and I haven't left Web3 since then. So that all somehow evolved into Val and I meeting at an NFT event, and fast forward to now, running this show as co-hosts for 6 seasons. We're about to hit our finale and go into season 7. So it's a bit about me, and we also have some beautiful guests today. So I'll pass it over to them to do a quick intro.
Hi, my name is Denise, and I'm a graphic designer and an animator. And I've been in Web3 since May 2022. And we've been in it together. Like, we collaborate on a lot. Actually, like, everything we've done is basically a collaboration. And so we worked together, and we also started our multimedia production studio called Out of Body Productions. I actually was like, let's just name it Out of Body Productions. When he kept asking me what we should name it, so I was like, I'm going to name it this. And so, yeah, I've been doing that. Um, and I've helped like organize side events for the different, like, crypto conferences, mainly for like music. And yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Awesome. Just like Nisi, I got into Web3 2022 because I'm a content creator and but a musician, and wanted to do a lot of things, especially with art. And just saw that there is, because I was into crypto with like Ethereum and Bitcoin, and especially my family, they were really into it, and they kept encouraging me to go into NFTs. And so finally I just went for it and took the plunge, and also started getting into the community and fell in love with the community because just so much, it's so active and it's so fun, and everybody's like trying to do new things. I've always really been about new tech and innovation, even in the music and arts. So to see so many people who are like-minded in that just gave me like, oh, this is awesome. And I felt like I could explore art that I actually really wanted to explore. And that was very much so the case, to the point where, many things that I felt like would not do very well in social media, other parts of it would, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as like TikTok and different things like that, uh, I couldn't really pursue those interests because the audience, wanted other things compared to in Web3. I felt like there was a big, strong welcoming for the type of art that I did and for my experimentations. And people who were wanting to like consume art. I felt like whether the NFT boom made a bunch of new collectors, or there was a whole new like refound interest in art because there was this new way to own the art and have it as be as a form of property, or owning the NFT and having the ledger for it. It made for me, I felt like there was an influx of a lot of people who just suddenly became more interested and started paying attention to the art as well. And so I've had a lot of great experiences and just kept up with it. Each collaboration I do is super fun to do. We're usually leaning into a new type of experience, and especially the last one I did with Creatress, that has been just phenomenal. Me and Creatress have been just kind of super organically just started like as on a whim to do a collaboration, but then since then just been getting little trinkets and little things to make it more level up each time for the collaboration at least. And the last time that we were together in Denver and in Texas, it was pretty cool to see how we've been developing it, and how each time we've been also been able to practice too. And it's like really cool. And like I'm very sentimental, not sentimental, but I really like the last performance we captured, because it really put a bow tie and everything. Like we had spent time with it and everything. So, but again, that's so cool that we're able to explore that technology, that we're able to, have. And I'm sure we're going to get into the story too, but how we were able through the community be able to get funded, and be able to explore this art form and to hone in even further. It's been really cool. So yeah, big time into Web3, into tech, and state of the art types of things, and all about how the community is very much aligned with that same ideal. And yeah, here to rock.
Well, speaking of being into all things tech, here on There's Layers to This, we don't only just talk about Web3 art and toads, but we do like to talk about what's happening in tech and other industries. And sometimes we talk about AI. Today, we have some space news for you guys. And so we're going to get into our space segment here. And then we'll go in and talk about what's happening at East Denver and some memories and experiences we had. But you guys, as the astronauts are back, they've been back now for a couple weeks. But for those who don't know, there were a couple astronauts from NASA that went up into space at the International Space Station. And so here are the two astronauts. This is Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams. And so they went into space last year in 2024. I think they went up into space in, I want to say June, maybe it was. And then their spacecraft got, like, I don't know, something happened. It wasn't sounding right. They were only supposed to be up there for just a short amount of time. I want to say just only a few weeks, and then they were supposed to come back to Earth. But because they had figured out that their spacecraft that they came up in sounded not so good, NASA made the decision to bring back the spacecraft without the astronauts. So these two astronauts were stranded. And so they had to figure out, okay, now that they don't have a spacecraft to come back to Earth, what are they going to do? And of course, it costs millions, if not sometimes billions of dollars to just get a spacecraft to use all that fuel and all the employees that it takes to get a rocket into space. So them coming back took a few months to figure out. And so Elon Musk, who owns his private space company called SpaceX, he decided, you know what, I can go and bring them back. So he created an entirely new rocket, sent it up there in space, but not just with the rocket. He also brought on two new astronauts also in space. So this International Space Station has been crowded with all of these astronauts. But of course, they haven't just been hanging out. They've actually been doing some science. They've been testing some new technology. They've been testing how blood works in space. They've been looking at how living organisms can do, because the idea is that one day humans will live on different planets and be a multiplanetary species. So they've been working hard, but they've been okay. And so thankfully, finally, these two astronauts have come back down to Earth and they are back. So I think originally they were only supposed to be up there delayed by 3 months. And then this turned into 8 months, but they're okay. This was nothing not new to them. These two astronauts have been in space before for over a year. So they've been in space even longer than what they were stranded for. So they were used to this. There was no big deal. But yeah, thanks to Elon
Big deal.
for
MVP.
saving the day. Saving the day. So yeah, did you guys hear about this? Did you watch any of like the footage when they came back to Earth?
Very little. Yeah, I haven't seen the footage, but I've been seeing the headlines and haven't read too much into it. So it's great to get the recap just now.
Yeah, Creatress, have you seen anything on it?
I haven't seen anything on it, but I do remember there was quite a bit of things on social media, like maybe about a month ago, maybe probably when the rocket left, because wasn't it like in the sky in San Diego? I feel like when the rocket's taking off, it makes like this crazy
like you can see it
cloud
in the
looking
sky, like during
alien.
sunset and stuff. Yeah, I don't know if it took off from around here or did it take off from Florida? Because I know sometimes they take off from Florida too. So I don't
like
even remember.
which Ada and Danny are in Florida, so not to dox them or anything, but
yeah,
they're closer to that.
See them go up into the sky, and freaking one time we got a chance to see all of it like separate, and then the other parts would just like crash down, and it looked literally something like a sci-fi video, because like at the edges of the other parts that were falling, it looked like an aurora borealis was like surrounding it. It was wild. It was I was like, this is super future tech. Wait, what the hell is going it looks super cool. It's so, like, yeah, super sci-fi.
Yeah, definitely sci-fi, but something super cool that happened actually when these astronauts came back. Of course, their spacecraft splash lands in the ocean, right? It's nice and safe for them. They were actually greeted by dolphins. So there is actually footage out there on the internet of like when they got back, there's all these dolphins checking out the spacecraft and like jumping up in the air in the sun. It's like, wow, you know. So such a cool way to get greeted. So yeah, and in other space news, there is a new discovery. So astronomers have recently announced the discovery of 128 new moons orbiting Saturn. So this brings the planet's total moon count to 274, which actually surpasses Jupiter and basically cements Saturn as the moon king of our solar system. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how they keep discovering these new planets and new moons, but within our own solar system, I think is really cool. So did you guys get to hear anything about that, about Saturn here?
No, that's
didn't know
totally
that
new
at
to me.
all.
That was awesome. I know I had when we were in the only thing I've been knowing about moons was in Austin. We got the chance to see a lunar eclipse. That was pretty cool. But that's the only moon news I've been hearing.
Any moon news for you, Creatress? Did you hear we have 128 new moons on Saturn?
I think I saw it on Instagram actually, because I follow quite a bit of space uh, influencers or space educators, and so I remember seeing that, and I was just like, I remember seeing like also, I remember thinking that was wild, but also I saw a follow up tweet, like almost like a meme that said like, I'm so glad Earth only has one moon because if it had more than one, I'd have to pick my favorite, and I can't even like. I'm trying to pick my favorite.
That is a good point. That's a good point. And speaking of influencers, here is a fellow influencer who's an astronomer and astronaut herself, Astro Alexandra, and here she is talking about the discovery. Let's play.
128 new moons around Saturn. Every year, astronomers discover a couple new moons, mostly around Saturn and Jupiter, and it's kind of been a competition between the two for who has the most moons. And then yesterday, the International Astronomical Union ratified and released 128 new moons around Saturn, all at once. So guess how many moons it has in total now? 274. Just to remind everyone, we only have one. To be fair, most of these moons are a lot smaller than ours, only a couple of miles across, but there's a lot of them, and most of these moons orbit somewhere between 6 and 18 million miles away from Saturn, so way past its rings and major moons. Also, some of them orbit in a backwards rotation compared to Saturn's major moons. Scientists think that these smaller moons may have formed from giant collisions of other objects in space, maybe from larger moons that were previously in Saturn's orbit. What's very cool is that astronomers can tell which of these moons came from the same larger object, so they can basically make a moon family tree. And don't hold me to this, but if historical patterns continue, Jupiter's not going to take this lightly, and a giant new Jupiter moon discovery is going to happen.
So yeah, it sounds like there are discoveries that are happening all the time, and which that actually reminded me too. I saw this crazy new theory that they believe our universe actually is within a black hole. Like there is some new evidence that is pointing towards that this new theory could be true, that like everything that we know, that we could be potentially inside a black hole right now. So it's crazy. I've been following.
Oh, I saw that.
I saw that.
We won't get into it. We won't get into that because I don't even know the science, not even the beginning of it. But I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to come back and like research this at a later time because this might be like way too mind blowing. So maybe we could look into it and talk about it on our finale because that might be the end of us. Like, you know, like the end of our brains being able to comprehend what is even going on, like getting into that topic. So let's revisit that.
All right, we'll revisit it. But since we've been on the topic of moons, the last thing we'll share within our space segment is that there was a blood moon and lunar eclipse. So here's a little video I took. This was literally outside my front house. And you can kind of see it there, like a little red speck. And I also go across the sky. It was a little bit of a cloudy day because I live kind of by the beach. So there's a lot of like clouds, but you could also see some sort of constellations out there. So here are some other pictures, the best quality that I could get on my iPhone, mind you. So I didn't have a professional like telescope that can, take photos and stuff. But I like this one because this is my street, Pacific Beach Drive. So I thought that was cool. And then I use a Skyview app. So you can also check out some of the constellations. So if you were looking at the moon, you might have been able to spot the constellation Leo and then also Virgo. So right now the moon is in Virgo. For anyone who follows astrology, I'm sure you can tell me a lot about what that means. But yeah, you probably could have seen Leo and Virgo. But yeah, did you guys catch the lunar eclipse and blood moon?
Did we? I just have to say, I got to give a shout out here to my mom, who's a Virgo. The moon is in her sign right now.
Nice.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. And also, as you may or may not know, Leo is my sign. So, everybody keep an eye out. Leo season coming. Summer is coming. We are making our way to the heat. So, anyway, okay. Back to the full moon eclipse. We definitely saw it, and this was the full moon. Okay, first we had a full moon, or that in itself is like a thing, right? And we, Out of Body and I, along with the rest of the Eternal Rhythms team, except Denichi, we were very, very much missing her in Austin. But when we were in Austin was the full moon, and then that rolled over into the lunar eclipse. So we have now experienced a full moon and a lunar eclipse, and it was pretty dope. It was like at the end of a long day, we were hanging out and just spending time outside in the backyard, which was a really nice backyard, thanks to Third Planet Studio. And yeah, we were kind of geeking out watching the whole vision, right?
Totally. We were all like just like crowding around, and we got a pretty good spot where there was some clouds, but once they cleared up a little bit, I mean, we got full view of it, and we could totally see when the edge of the moon was totally approaching, like, and going into full lunar eclipse. It was so wild because when it finally like was at where it was like this little gleam at the very tip. And yeah, it was super cool. And then I also saw it retreat, you know what I mean, retreat back away, and that was really cool too. So it's like, you don't get to see that, especially with the sun. You're like looking at it with those like big old goggles, or you need to see it like through the thing.
Right.
You can really see it.
Yeah.
I when things are bright, you gotta have your sunglasses on. That's for sure. It's bright in here. But but when we had the moon right in front of us, we could literally just just gaze on it the whole night. I didn't have any room on my darn phone. It was so irritating. I know, but I couldn't get so much of like the last bits of the trip. I couldn't even capture, and that was like one of the big ones, is getting that. I didn't get any of that on footage, but I probably could have captured it pretty good with my phone because it does good with that stuff. But
don't worry, these are one of the astrological things. Is that correct? I think I'm saying that correctly, but these are one of the things that happen like every couple of years. So I'm sure you stick around on this earth for long enough, you in your lifetime, you'll see it again. So there'll be another opportunity to see a blood moon and full moon at the same time. So I don't think they're as rare as some of the other events, but if you missed it this time or weren't able to get photos or videos this time, there will be another opportunity, I think, in a couple of years. But I do know you guys wanted to share that there was some sort of thing, and I don't know, for you guys that happened during this time? Was there something that happened with you guys all together?
Yeah. Well, do you want to
Yeah.
elaborate, Creatress?
Well, I believe the moon thing happened like the day after our performance in Austin. So, and our performance in Austin was probably, I think, it's like the sixth or seventh time that we've gone to like run through little eternal rhythm set,
Hmm.
which is 20 minutes long, right? So, we got to practice in online a couple times, more than a couple times before we got to Denver. But then when we got to Denver, we got to practice in person since we were all staying in the same place before the performance. So we got to practice it a couple times, and then we performed it, and then we performed it again, and then like I'd say we probably ran through the whole thing maybe 7, 8 times.
Wow.
And that day of the eclipse was actually the day after our last performance, which was in Austin. And
Hmm.
so, like Ada was mentioning, like I think that night after, you know, we were home and we were just kind of relaxing, not like home, but like the house we were all staying at in Austin. Um, we were like, let's run it and let's actually take down the music, the live music track. And so we did that, and it just, I mean, I don't know if it was a lunar eclipse or like the fact that we had already gone to practice so many times and performed together so many times at that point that it just felt like, I don't know, it felt really, really good
Yeah.
to run it, and like the way that we all were able to like interact together and flow, and then the way the music came out. I mean, we have now a new recording, right, with like the live violin and the live
Yeah. It's cool.
flute,
Hmm.
and it sounds amazing. I played it for a few people and it sounded amazing. So I'm really happy with that. And I think it was the lunar eclipse just giving
So
us that
wait, so
extra.
what you guys are saying is like the pre-recorded audio you guys normally played performance, you guys decided, oh, let's actually just do this completely live for your last one? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Kind of, not really. I'll let Ada do this part because he's the musical genius.
And well, it's the other times when we would play, we would get a lot of footage of it, and we would get like, recording of it like through a microphone or something, and it was always picking up a lot of people talking, or just
Mm.
a lot of things didn't come through. So Craig just had the idea of, let's just make sure we capture the music this time the best way we could. And I was like, okay, cool, because I had like a little miniature recording studio with me, with like what we had, and so me and Clay Jean were able to plug directly into my mixer. And so I got that performance captured, and and we captured like, what we did with it for the high quality audio too. But that was the same night that the blood moon was out, and it was just super cool. We like Kurt just saying, we had practiced like the most that we had practiced together. And then on top of that, just there's like a electricity in the air, and I feel like Clayjon was really like digging into a lot of things. I was really having fun, and yeah, and we captured a really solid performance. It's just like cool that when you think back, I was like, all right, that was the blue moon one. That, wow, that's cool, like.
So
So
it just
Literally,
gave the moon just helped to emphasize all of your skills and talents that you've been like honing in on your craft, and
right,
just made it that much more. Would you say even like this spiritual phenomenon like you guys were like experiencing, would you say something like that? Because I would just say too, when you play, your flute out of body, there is like this sense of like tapping into the spiritual side, tapping into heritage and ancestors. So the way you guys are describing it to me, I just can only imagine, that's maybe something you guys were experiencing too.
oh well, every time I play music, it's very very spiritual for me. So it's like, yeah, like, so if we were honing in even further, I like that.
I mean, if we're having a lunar eclipse, blood moon, and the possibility of being in a black hole, I mean, that just that just sounds
oh,
like
oh my god,
a moment to be created that's just intense for everyone. So in a good way.
I
So
felt it. I was really feeling it that day. And you know what? I just remembered. Um, we went live earlier that day, like when it was still light out. we went live with Clay Jean. He had a live stream. Oh, and I know why Ada's laughing. Okay, but we'll talk about this. But like, so now that I think of it, we performed it twice that day at the house, right? So that was kind of like a day for us to like make music and like recoup, because the day before we had the performance, we didn't get home till like 2 in the morning, and everyone was exhausted. It was such a long day. But that day, the day of the lunar eclipse, we were at the house for a while. Like we went live with Clay Jean, and Adamati is laughing is because I almost just called him all the things. Why he's laughing is because when we were going live with Clay Jean, we decided to play it in a different key, I believe.
Yeah,
because
because
the flute, right? Oh, you tell this part about.
well, I guess I should show it. So this is the flute that I originally composed the music for. It's a pretty big flute. I call it bear claw because of the bear claw right here. And then when I was in Breckenridge, me and Nisi were seeing the first time we ever seen snowfall. Like I've seen snow before, but I was 8 years old, and Nisi's never seen snow or anything. And we were in Breckenridge, we saw snowfall, everything, like the most snow you could ever imagine. And so we were walking down the stores, and there was a place that was selling actual professionally made Native American style flutes.
Oh,
And
wow. Really?
this one is actually quite a bit smaller too. So it's
Mhm.
this one's if you could tell, like, yeah. So this one's lower, and because of that, all the music was composed for this one. So when I grabbed this one, I actually really like this one because, and this one's called Birdwing, because that's bird.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this one's it's pierced through the music a lot more, so you can hear it a lot more clear. This one would tend to get in the mix, especially live performance wise, it kind of would get drowned out by like a lot of the bass notes, and it's a very soft flute. This one's a lot more bright toned, and so I was like, oh yeah, let's do it with the new flute. And Chris just said, let's you know, try, to capture it. And so we, had this idea to do it more than once. But the first time we had narration throughout this whole thing. And so we had Nisi, she was narrating at the beginning, and then Clay Jean would go in towards the end. But because when I transposed the music, I also transposed the vocals that were behind it in the narration. And so like we were going on the live stream, and that's when we realized that the vocals are all messed up, and I just realized it too. I was like, oh, I was supposed to transpose the other one without the vocals. And right up, we're going live with Clay Jean and his followers, and then Nisi comes on like a chipmunk.
It sounded so high because the other flute is so much of a higher key that like voices. So it literally sounded like she was a chipmunk. And you know what, Ada, I feel like we need to find that live, and I kind of want to watch the live.
I recorded that whole thing. Yeah,
I need to see the clip. I need to hear it.
Yeah, I tracked that one. Yeah, that one I tracked that because we had the idea, but it was like I didn't want to restart the whole thing again. So
okay. So we have that recorded. We have a recording.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely was breaking out.
That's hilarious. So me and Ada, you could, and this is why I want to watch it again, because me and Ada, I remember as soon as the first line happened and we heard Denichi's voice coming through like super high, we both started like looked at each other and like started laughing, but we couldn't do anything because literally like we had Clay Jean in front of us, and he was like right up front with like the live stream.
Yeah,
it was already going. There was no.
Oh man! So he didn't even realize what was actually happening.
He realized.
I'm sure he did, but he was just going in.
He just kept going.
Who cares?
He was live for like 20 minutes or 30, like on like getting the live going and doing the thing. And so we had already planned, okay, you guys come in about 20, 30 minutes later, and we'll do the run through. Yeah. So there was no like, we are like, just run it. We're just gonna run it.
Well, those are some of the funnest like memories when those things just kind of happen and you don't plan for it and you're like, what, so it's just something to like look back on. But definitely if you find the clip, maybe on the next, show, we can play if with permission from Denise, because I know it's your voice. So
I don't want to see
Yeah, it was funny when Nisi was going on, but then when Clay Jean came in with the chipmunk voice,
oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
his voice changed too. That was we
Oh,
were all like, "Oh my god, this
that's
sounds so
hilarious.
bad."
he was
And
like an
like, we
old
need to show a
mysterious
picture
chipmunk.
for
It's
people who
like,
don't know how Clay Jean looks like, because he's this big, tall guy. So to imagine a chipmunk voice coming out of him is already funny on
almost
its own.
sounded like a South Park play. His voice was like high pitched below.
But
Yeah, that was a
speaking
funny
of
moment.
East Denver memories and, of course, experiences, now we're going to be transitioning into that segment where each one of us are going to pick a highlight. Some of us have a couple, but our show, is only an hour, so we're definitely going to be leaving a lot of stuff out. So hopefully we might have to have like even a part 3 to even get through all this stuff. But we're definitely going to kick it off with Out of Body. I know there was something about your highlights being something around Nolcha shows and some art piece that you finished. So why don't you go ahead and share what those memories are?
Oh, hell yeah. I got so many good memories in Denver. That was fun. I think that was probably like, that's probably my favorite one just because it was just so many cool things that we did. But the Nultra show was freaking awesome. Just going there and completing our mission that we like got the funding for from the little nouns, got a shout out to them. And these
Shout out
getting
Little
these
Nouns.
in these special edition ones representing, going in there and freaking going to Nultra shows and performing and doing everything that we did and culminating to that. It was seriously a super fun experience. And so that was like my biggest highlight. But for kind of like a unique experience that I've never done before, that was just like a really cool highlight too, is that for the Airbnb that we were staying at, we had worked out with him. It was actually Binks. She's freaking awesome and from Third Planet. That they could do some help because it was a smart house and they had all these different features that were in there, little Easter eggs that you could find around the house. And she had talked with him and said we could do an art piece for your house, like through some like projection mapping, and then maybe we could that help shave off some of the days, and so they worked it out like 2 days at this. It was a pretty nice place too. So he shaved that off for me to make an animation, and then her son Julian would projection map that to this mountain decoration that he had on this wall. And so at first I was I've never done projection mapping. And so I just done animations on Blender. And so I put it all together. It was like all these different tiles and did this kind of abstract art idea, and we put it together and Julian put it through the projector, and it freaking worked. It worked super good. I even put my signature on it and everything. Here, I can share my screen real quick if that's
Yes,
okay.
please do.
Yeah,
Yes,
show
we
it,
love
show
to
it,
see
show
it.
it, show it, show it.
Oh yeah, there
And
it
we're
is.
all, of course, rocking the noggles.
Hey.
These are good old noggles. These are the little nogs, the ones that Ada's wearing right here. The little nogs for the little nouns. Not to be confused with like the OG noggles, which me and Danny are wearing. There's layers to this. There's many. There are many different. There are also
Make me
precious
put in my
noggles.
password to share a screen. So silly. I have to quit and reopen to share my screen.
What?
Oh no!
I've never had that.
Send it here in the private chat. Maybe one of us can share it.
Yeah, there we go.
Also,
I'll do that.
we have some comments.
Yeah.
Keegan said, "Ground game strong."
Hey, shout out to Keegan. Also one of our
And-
sponsors. And he
Yes,
has
shout
his
out.
show tonight on Spaces. So tune in tonight, 6:15 p.m. normally. And then we have
Yes.
your lovely sister creatress, Isa la Artista, also saying ground game strong. Okay. I was with her earlier today.
The phrase is catching on. And
We had
Issa
some
was
ground
in
game
Denver with.
today.
Gotta give a
And she
shout out
also
to Issa.
says, Happy Taco Tuesday, fam, with the hearts.
Yay, happy Taco Tuesday.
Make sure you pet a toad today, Isabel, all right? Pet a toad.
Eat a taco. to an inch
All
goes
right.
very
So do
straight.
we have, okay, I see here we have this link. Let me go ahead and share it so we can see the projection mapping that he is talking about. All
Hey, it's
right.
super fun.
This volume.
So
But yeah,
all those tiles
explain
are
to us
going.
what we're seeing.
Yeah, so you could even see my signature on the bottom, but that wall, that decoration of the mountain is usually
Yeah.
just black and white tiles. But when you have the projection map, you see all the there's mountains, there's trees, there's like a whole like, it's like abstract. So I was thinking about like being in the cold. So there's ice in some of the cubes. Other parts are the aurora borealis. There's like a deer that's like runs across in the bottom right corner,
Yeah, I did
and
see
yeah, so I did like different things to kind of break up the different cubes and keep it abstract.
that. Uh-huh.
It worked really well. I was so stoked when I saw how it came out. And he even has it hooked up now to the smart home that when you go up to that, he says, "Hey Alexa, put on Mountain Vibes," and then it goes dun dun, and it shines
What?
on there. Yeah, so that was
Whoa.
yeah, I was super stoked to like pull out. I didn't do the automating or
Yeah,
commands.
yeah, look at that.
Actually,
Superstar.
Cool.
So freaking cool, dude. I think
yeah.
it came out dope, and your signature looks sick. It's just, I think that worked out really well.
That's cool. There's a little statue there, a little mount
I
of a deer
know. We were even thinking we could projection map that too.
and make it come to life. That's
Right?
cool.
Yeah, Harry
Cool.
Potter, everything.
Wow. So would you do something like this again? Because I know this was your first time. So
Oh,
is this
heck.
something like you're thinking about exploring now?
Oh yeah, and it was so much fun, and I didn't realize, that there was so much I could do with it. And once like I saw a bit of how Julian was going about it, and then how I could, it's stuff that I'm very familiar with, but just in a different way. So I'm super stoked and would love to do this again. And again, it's a cool thing because it's a permanent art installation now. So I was like, yes,
Yeah.
it's my first one. So
Very
yeah, I would love to do it again. I'm actually having ideas I would like to I'm exploring with Fail Often and stuff. It's pretty cool, but we're going into some of stuff like that, and yeah.
That's one of my favorite like kind of mediums is projection mapping.
Mhm.
I've seen it done a couple of times. I've had a couple like art pieces that have been done, and it just adds like another dimension to being in a space, like being
Right.
in a room, because you're so
Oh,
used to looking at something that's so like one or two dimensional. It's just like flat, But
mhm.
then when you add in the animation and then the audio
Right.
too, it just becomes so much
Oh,
more immersive.
we were in Hogwarts, Nisi and I, and we got to at the Universal Islands of Adventure,
Uh-huh.
and we saw the whole, like they did this performance of the projection mapping onto the castle, and we literally
Yeah.
watched that like multiple times.
They're like, we need to do this.
And just like we're getting so many ideas looking at that. So then to see that and then do something like that on a small scale, it's like
Mhm.
I did that actually, like that animation basically in one night.
Wow.
So I stayed up all night to do it. I had like this big old fuzzy thing on my head, and everyone was like, they kept coming in and saying byes and everything. That was fun. But
The fuzzy thing on your head. That's so
yeah, remember that
funny.
big elephant ear or the bunny ears thing? That was great. But if I had more time, yeah, and well, I'm actually planning on it, and so I want to do some like pretty cool, nifty things with the projection, and maybe even doing like 3D printing too. So it's like having a 3D printed object, having projection mapping on it, and animations and stuff. So a lot of once I tried it out, I was like, oh, I could do a lot with this. So I've been having a lot of ideas. So.
Awesome. Well, speaking of all your ideas, I know you had some good news coming out of I think Texas it was. Do you want to share what that announcement is?
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. So one of the cool things is that when I had tracked one of the last ones that we did too, I think the last one, we had it was during my last performance. by myself. I had a solo act when I was in Austin. It was for South by Southwest, and then Third Planet Studios. She had rented out 420 Club for us to have a venue to play at, which was so awesome. I was on probably I was second to last, and usually around that time, there's quite more people that come in, but it was actually, it was pretty, moderate. It was a people that were, in there, and so I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna do my best. And then I saw this one guy, he was like taking a lot of pictures of me and footage of me, so I was like, oh, so this guy's digging it, so I'm gonna play my heart out to you. I just like was like, giving him his like own personal like freaking thing. And so but I saw him talking to Julian and everything, Binks' son. And so after I was done, I got off stage and I went to talk with him. I was like, hey, what's up? Glad to meet you. He said, I think your music would do really good in Europe. And I said, oh, awesome. Thank you. That's a nice compliment. And he's like, how do you feel about like a European tour? Would you ever be down for something like that? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I would love to do a European tour, this and that. So we exchanged numbers, and I got busy and didn't realize till the next day when I went to like see, different contacts that I made. Him popped up. He had put himself as a European music manager. And I was like, oh, let me call this guy and like, let's talk some deets. And he answered right away, and we set up a time for us to have like a couple beers at one of the venues at South by. And so we went together. He had his friend with him, and we had a great time. And yeah, set up basically I just got off the phone call with him today, so we're going to talk a lot more deets on Sunday. But he wants to have me go on a European tour and starting Slovakia, maybe going into like Germany, maybe Amsterdam. So I'm like super stoked about it. It'd be my first time in Europe, and yeah, it was really really neat. And that was, and the big the big thing of this story is like I had brought him back to the house because I was telling him we were like a bunch of musicians. We were going to be doing recordings, and so that was like one last performance I felt like we did, but that was like for Yakub and his friend Brian. And so yeah, that was super fun. Shout out to you, Kratos. I appreciate you and everything, and freaking us doing that. And then we also got a cool tracking from it too. So I thought that was really special and everything. But yeah, thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I mean, I think that's, any, type of creator artist that is putting all this work and showcasing their talent, that, yeah, you might be scouted or noticed by someone who can bring you into another journey, another part of your journey. So congratulations. I look forward to seeing what happens there. Definitely keep us up to date, and we'll definitely try to make it out there and be part of your fan group, and cheer you on.
Oh, I appreciate you a million.
But Denise, I know you have a couple of your own experiences and memories that you made out in East Denver. Why don't you share what those were?
Yes. For me, one of my favorite things about being at ETH Denver was actually the immersive house that Third Planet Studios got for all the artists. My room in particular, I personally think was the best room out of all of them because I had a whole entire gym in my room. And so it is hard to work out when you go to these events because I've tried. I would even take my own exercising equipment with me. A lot of funny stories with that. And I learned I should not be traveling with exercising equipment. So when I did get that room, I was like, oh my God, I went to heaven. And so it was wonderful being able to like just wake up and go hit the weights and stuff. But another experience that I really, really, really enjoyed was seeing all my friends like on stage at Lion's Lair performing the beginning part of the cipher. The cipher was started back in Miami when we did Zouchella with 7, 8 different artists.
I think it's 7 artists.
7 artists, yeah. And so when we were at ETH Denver, we had the first 3 there, which was Clayjon, Godcloud, and Geek Myth. And
Yay.
so what I loved about this was like I didn't know this was going to happen. Just all of a sudden I see my friend Geek Myth getting ready to go on stage and I'm like, "Oh shoot, it's about to happen." And yeah, that was just amazing to see my friends going up on there and performing that together, because I remember us recording it back in Miami at the other Airbnb, and I can't wait to see them all do it together. That's going to be amazing, but seeing that happen, yeah, that made my night.
Mhm.
That sounds so awesome. Just seeing everybody that like I said, you've been watching everybody just bring in their skills and their talents, and then just to see it all together, and not just them, but then with the live audience and just the ambiance. Like, that sounds so awesome. And I had no idea about that about you. I just barely met you, like, finally in person. So is that something you're dedicated to, is also like working out, like whether you're traveling or not? Like, that's something that you practice?
Yeah, I've been my dad got me into exercising when I was 4 years old, so I'm a very active person. I don't know if I'm like ADHD or something, but I have a hard time sitting still. Like if you were to put a time lapse camera on me while I work, I get up so much just because I can't sit still. And so exercising helps tone that down a bit, because I feel like if I didn't, the energy would just be insane. So
So
exercise.
it's not due to the lunar moon. Your energy is not going to be because of the lunar moon this time.
Yeah.
That will just maybe amplify it, and we'll see Denichi just on another planet at that point. Cool. Well, did you have something you wanted to share from your night there?
I have the cipher. I don't know, where did I send the cipher video?
Excuse me.
I think I have it here.
Yeah, I'd just love to see like what that looked like and show the audience.
Yes.
I think we have a couple other comments. Isabel again saying, "Let's go," with some hand claps there. And she also says, "Way to go, out of body. Well deserved," with some prayer hands. So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely out of body's putting in the work, and definitely deserves all that. All you guys do. So yeah, it's so good to see.
Shout out to Isabel for being out there with us, because she was out there. She helped with the driving. She helped with a bunch of little things behind the scenes. So super duper appreciate Issa coming out and being there in person for all of it. And
Yeah, I think it was her
supporting
first time at
us.
East Denver and in Denver in general. So me and Keegan will take a little bit of credit for that. We kind of forced her, saying, "Hey, you got to go. You got to come out here." So glad she did. But I see here we've got the tweet from Denise. Let's share that. All right.
And we got together. First off, give it up for Third Planet Studios making this happen.
This is a cool venue.
So we all got together, right?
Let's fast forward.
About the music before us, about the pleasant sound. Shut up, we all come together.
It's
about the
out
music before us, about
of
the
body.
another snapper for the blockchain. This time, VIP going from John Wayne. The city's lit and that has not changed. Cause I'm rolling and I'm playing my brain. Go on the stormy weather. I wanna feel the heat. I got my health oppression, bitch. I learned that in the streets. I'm here for South Sugar. And a couple easy greats. And new life could be this sweet. New life could be this sweet. We got the DJ Phillies, man.
Oh, dang, he's going in. Wow, that looks so much fun.
It was dope, dude. It's like all the homies just going in. It was dope.
The audience knows the lyrics. They're like rapping with him. Like, that's cool. I saw Adibadi there too. Look, his hands up, like getting in there.
That was fun.
I can't wait till we're in stadiums. Like that like I could just feel
Vibes. Vibes all the way. I hope to make it to one of these. It just looks like a good time, and I can easily see why that was one of your highlights, Denise. That looks I see here Issa saying, "Wish I could have been on the live stream to help share more of the behind the scenes experience. It was so much fun." Oh yeah, I know she had her own
Well,
perspective being there. If she wants to join, Courageous could easily just send you the link if you want to hop on her show
you're
today.
so funny. Well, Bella, I know, is right now has her hands full. So I think
Mhm.
she's listening at work. But Bella, if you're still listening, I guess now's a good time to make an announcement. Next week, during our finale episode, we are going to do a more deep dive into the Denver experience and the Austin experience.
Let's go.
So you are invited as a special guest to come share your experience from the behind the scenes of Denver, and hopefully we'll also have the rest of our Little Eternal Rhythms team here to also share their experiences. So next week, tune in and you can hear a little bit from everybody, and we'll also have a more in-depth video recap for y'all to watch. So
Yes. So
Sounds
Isabel,
good.
that's your official invitation. Save the date and mark off your calendar for 1 p.m. Pacific. Okay. The time is still a little bit TBA, but just think about 1 p.m. All right.
yeah, probably 1 p.m. And speaking of time, we are coming down
Yes.
to the last 5 minutes of our show.
We are. I'm okay going. I'm having fun. The time goes by so fast. We always try to go through all the memories and things. And this is just highlights, guys. Like there's so many other things that happened during Meet Denver. But yeah, I'm down to go a little bit over time so we can get through your highlights and my highlights. If we gotta maybe extend it half an hour more, I'm okay. I got some energy back. I was a little tired today. I did some dog walking. So I've been exercising a lot and
So
being
funny.
outside. So I'm
Well,
cool
I
if you guys
am
want to stay on.
I'm down to stay on a little longer, but I am getting hungry, so I can't stay on much longer. My
I've got a little bit of shake and East Denver
send it,
guys. This is the logo.
send
This is
it.
but all
All right,
right. Yeah, let's try to get through this last part here.
all right. I'll share mine relatively quick.
Go for it.
Um, so my highlight, honestly, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's always my highlight from every event is the performance. I There isn't a single thing that I could do. There's never been an event that I've been to that I've had more fun at than when I perform somewhere. Okay, so I could go to the best party of the whole week and like get VIP treatment and do all, and I'm still not gonna have as much fun as when I perform. So like my highlights was the performance, and like Ada said too, is like finally doing the thing that we've been planning on and that we've been like working towards. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. It just feels so good to finally do the work, and like present the work to the audience. So that was my favorite part. I'll share just a tiny bit of the performance for anyone who didn't see it, and then you guys can also go ahead and watch it on your own anytime. But here is a little bit. I'm gonna scroll through to the middle. Let's see what this looks like.
Can you make it full screen
Hmm.
or like bigger? Yeah.
How's this?
Yeah. Perfect.
There's Danny. Ah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Ah, they're going ham.
Uh-huh. Like the Denise getting the footage too.
All right, you get the picture. You get the picture. Um, Yeah, I could watch that like all day. Like I could just I'm like, oh my God. That's just the live stream. And shout out to Keegan, Teaching Tuesdays, Token Talk, all the things, because he
Mhm.
did our live stream. That was him behind the camera.
It's awesome.
And that's just the only angle I've seen so far, besides the ones on my phone. But
Mhm.
like, as you saw, Danny was all up in there in the action. So I cannot wait to see Danny's footage. Oh my
Mhm.
God, y'all. Like just watching that, I'm like, oh my God, that looks so cool. And you can see Anna and they're just like literally like the framing of that was so good because like I'm like right there and then they're right there and it's just like this back and forth. Ah, I love it. I just it's yeah, so that was my favorite part. Thank you to everybody who came out, everybody who supported. We had
Mhm.
Jenny, the founder and CEO of One Love, or president of One Love DAO. She came specifically to see our performance and left right after. She's like, I did what I came to do. So that was an honor, and to have her support our trip too. And then Third Planet Studios, and of course Little Nounsdale. Like, could not have done it without all of you.
Thank
And
you
it
so
was just amazing. It was like such a great feeling, and I can't wait to do it again. We have a couple invitations to do it again at a few places. On that note, if anybody wants to help support that, we are looking for sponsors and partners to do a few more performances, bigger, better.
much.
Thank you, Natalie. Love you. Always appreciate the support. And yeah, that was my favorite part was doing the performance. And we have a quick video. I don't know if you can run it, Val.
Yes.
That Ada and Danny made. So this is the first time this has been played ever online.
Okay.
So hang on to your tongues, everybody. Here we go.
Oh my gosh!
That
Killed
was
it! I'm so good. I literally,
Thank
I
you
don't know
for
if you guys
doing
can
that.
see. I'm kind of teary eyed. That was so beautiful. That was
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Wow.
I
Oh,
loved it. I loved it. That was like a quick edit too, yo. Like they just whipped that up really fast. Like I can't like oh my God, I can't wait to see like the rest of the yeah, that was dope. You guys are the best. You guys
You're the best. It is so cool. It's like even putting that together too is super fun.
Yeah.
Just seeing all the footage and all the little pieces. That's why I also wanted to get a little bit of us even in the car while we're together because it's all part of the experience too. And I just like for me like even like the memory of it, it's like the music that goes behind it is the music that we were playing over and over, which is the music we're practicing. So it's like I don't know. I just like it almost feels like that's like the memory of it too. It's just like going back and seeing that it's just like, but it's like being actualized in the video. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Very
there's layers to this, baby. There's layers to this. Oh
there
my God,
are
yeah.
layers.
What else can we say? Val, we gotta throw it to you. Like I said, I'm getting hungry, so
Oh man, that's kind of hard to
I
follow
would
up,
watch
you
that all
guys.
day. I would watch that all day if
I
if I
honestly could too. It's just something like as like an attendee and friend of you guys and just it's just such a beautiful thing to watch. I'm at a loss for words. All I can say is just like it's beautiful, but it means even more than that. Like just seeing all the creative talent you guys put together, and even just seeing Creatress, since I've known her the longest, just seeing her like elevate her performances and everything, and just I want to see more. Like I want more, and I think that's like the best feeling you can get at someone's like craft. Because like, why would, if you're like, nah, that was, nah, I don't want to see that anymore. But like with this, it's like, no, like I want to see more. Like even after the performance, like I was thankful, I was able to be there that day to see all of you guys there and perform at Temple Denver nightclub. And I was just like, this is awesome, but like, oh my God, can we have you guys like on the big stage downstairs? Like I was like, this is great, but what could even be like even more awesome is just getting you guys on a huge stage. Like, gosh, it's just, I guess you got to take what you can get, and like the baby steps, it's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, but when. But like, so good. And I can only imagine all the other performances, that you guys did when you guys were out there. Just, yeah, congratulations, you guys. You did it. That looks so awesome.
Thank you so much.
But
Creatress,
Yes.
Freaking hell yeah, loving it. It's so awesome. Just just very appreciative working with Creatress, and also like working with you, Valerie, and like all this, it's a lot of cool stuff coming together, and I'm just like, it's been like a very fun adventure.
Definitely an adventure. And I'm gonna say I had quite the adventure with my East Denver trip. I don't have enough time to talk about it all. There were some obstacles, guys. Like if you were following my Twitter, you might have been able to see I got my tooth taken out while I was in Denver. I had to make an emergency stop at the, dentist. I also got my passport and wallet stolen while I was out there. But there were some positives too. I was celebrating my 10-year anniversary with my partner Keegan. So although all these things were happening, we were still celebrating, our love and how long we've been out there together. So definitely want to make that and announce that, that it deserves a highlight. But there were some events that I did attend. But shout out to East Denver itself, and specifically Josh. I think I was in a space with Rachel Rose, if you guys know her. She was doing a spaces, and in that spaces I happened to enter a contest and won the VIP Spork Whale ticket. So I got to upgrade my ticket and go to I went to a lot of the VIP experiences, but that was pretty cool. Just being able to go in the lounges at the actual conference, being able to grab some snacks, some drinks, get some complimentary breakfast every single day. They had lunch every single day, and also open bar all day, every day from open to close.
Val, I didn't know about that. Okay, first of all, now I'm getting FOMO because I got the Sparkwell pass.
Yeah.
And about it, but I did not know that there was a VIP lounge. I did not know there was food or what?
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen. So I was able to get this ticket, right? But like I didn't know all the perks that it comes with, because I didn't even experience all of it either. Like apparently, like, which is really cool, they had concierge service. So like you could literally call them or text them if you had any issues whatsoever. The line was open 24/7 to like call or text for VIP Spork Whales. Plus, on top of that, you got $30 credit to go to any of the stores at the conference to get merch. Plus, they were giving away free merch at all times in the lounge. They were giving the buffercorn stuffed animals away. I didn't get that.
Oh my God, Adam and I are dying right now. We're like, what the actual crap? Because we did not know any of this. We were okay. I was stoked on this bag here that I got. I was like, y'all, Spork Whale, look what I got. I got this really cool bag. and this cool shirt. Which actually, I got to show off my shirt. This shirt I just got it like at registration, and it was just there. Like,
You're so comfy.
like,
I wear that as my
Those are
pajama
pretty comfy
t-shirt.
shirts.
So comfy and
this
soft.
is a major missed opportunity, Ada. We cannot. Okay, we're gonna get it again next year, and we're gonna go
Yes,
after
we're
all
all
of it.
gonna get it again next year.
We gotta get our stuff together.
It kind of hurts.
Like,
It
that
kinda
face
hurts.
even like,
No,
wow.
cool.
It really was.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh.
You guys were happy
So,
with
My bag is one of the best. I love my bag. That is the coolest darn thing. And that, that stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
yes.
Everyone, okay, let's not lament. Valerie, continue, but just say you got the better end of the sticks on this one. This is about to eat the phone.
Natalie
I'm
knows
about
we're
to,
both
I'm about
taking
to
the
just
phone.
chill.
You're hungry. We're
Oh,
wrapping
that
up
too.
here. We're
Yeah,
wrapping up
that's what
here.
she means. Yes. Okay,
We're
Val,
wrapping up
back to you.
Anyways,
Free
so
lunch.
that was a pretty cool highlight. But the other highlight I wanted to share, let me share my tweet I made here. I was trying to go and tweet out. I was trying to listen. Creatress is kind of like what I aspire to be on social media because she is so good at getting content. So every time I get content, I think of her like, what would Creatress do? So I was literally trying to track all my days. So I'm doing better. I didn't get to track every single day, but I did capture day 4. And on day 4, I did go chipped social event at ETH Denver. So let me turn off the volume and let's rewind back. And so here what we're looking at right now is like they had a little station where you can pick out merch for free and get it custom with patches. They were pressing on patches, stickers, and even sewing on some of these patches. So they had someone sewing there. So people were doing skirts, shorts, jeans, bags, t-shirts. Like you'll see some of the stuff that they had. So this was sponsored by Barachain. So go check them out. They're a layer 1, but here are some of the cool stickers. They also, for the girlies, they had hair clips. They had these cool hair clips that like had the bear on them, some chapstick, which you need when you're in East Denver. Look at this, how that is the matching purse.
Oh my God, the FOMO.
Oh my God. So, the girls were loving it. They had refreshments. You can see the Chip logo in the back. So that was nice. They had all the healthy stuff. And then they had a couple other stations. So this station was really cool because here you could go. It was called Soulmate. So you sign up and you basically are able to create a custom sage like little package with all of the like herbs and essence, and then you can write your own personal note and go give it to who your soulmate was. And so obviously on that day was literally the day I was celebrating my 10-year anniversary with Keegan, so he's the one I gifted mine to. But here you can see some of the sage, like lavenders and stuff. So I made one for him and gifted it to him. And then they had this other station where you can go and, of course, get the chipped nails. For those of you who don't know, Winnie, the founder of Chipped, she puts an NFC chip on the thumbnail. So for us girlies who like to wear sometimes fake nails, it's a great way to put an NFC chip and you can share your social contacts with it. So they had a station where all the girlies were putting on these nails, and they also had little nail stickers you can design them with and like customize them. And here's kind of like the venue. It was like this really nice rooftop, and so really nice view, such a sunny day. It was warmer than usual in Denver. Usually it's pretty cold around this time, but it was such good weather. So yeah, this was like one of my highlights because I've been wanting to go to like her events like every time, and I haven't been able to. I've been so busy. So I made it a point to make sure I like scheduled it in my schedule. I'm going. And it's nice to have a little bit of girly stuff at these like tech bro conferences. Okay. So I was loving it. And I dragged Keegan with me. So he's kind of like at the door, like, all right, it's all right, give her time. But he had like at least one other guy to talk to there, but I was having my girly moment. So yeah, that was my highlight.
That's awesome.
It sounds like so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of Chip before, or like have any of her nails?
No, I've never heard.
I was actually looking forward to that event. And I think Ada, I don't know, and Danny, if you remember, like I was like, I got a couple events that I RSVP'd to that I want to go to, and this was one of them. And I remember like, I think it was like in the middle of when we ended up practicing, or maybe we had like our sound check, or I don't know, but there was some reason that I didn't get to go, but it was on my list, and I had a feeling it was gonna be good. So I'm glad you went, and like it was good. So I'm like,
yeah,
that sounds awesome.
it's on my radar. It was on my radar. So yeah, I'm glad at least one of us got to go check it out and revel in the swag.
Yes,
the soulmate, the sage. That was awesome.
Yeah, I haven't burned it yet, so I'll let you guys know how it is, like how it smells and everything, and just cleanse the house. Natalie here says Keegan had one job, and that was to steal snacks and drinks for the hotel.
Yes, I could use some of those right now.
I think he got some snacks for himself, but he did not grab snacks for us for the hotel. It's okay. It's all good. But yeah, that pretty much concludes our experiences and memories of East Denver. And again, guys, this was just highlights. Like there's ton more stories, experiences, and wildness that went on, and we probably will never get through it, but you guys, if anything, try and save up and go next year. It's every end of February, early March at Denver. It's usually 2 weeks long. If you haven't been, you gotta make it out. It's one of the best conferences, filled with the best vendors, the best people and talent, and you just get to see what's up and coming in the tech. And AI was like a pretty big topic. So yeah, it was awesome. But I think we're gonna wrap up our show because we don't want Creatress eating up her screen again. And but we definitely have a couple of shout outs we want to do. So let's shout out. Let's shout out Mason. Mason, who is the head of community at Stand With Crypto, who's definitely a supporter of ours. If you guys have been following us, you know that Stand With Crypto funded us with $6,000 last year in November to travel to South Carolina and bring There's Layers to this. And we did a fun little workshop educating the community about crypto candidates, because this was voting time, and also about pro crypto policies. And so I was actually able to finally meet Mason in person. We had not met in person yet up until Denver, and I actually brought a little gift for him. So what he is cozying up with there with his cat, who might be a little jealous that he's cozying up with the blanket instead of the cat, but like this is such a cool design that Creatress made with some of our limited edition merch. And so this was what we did for them back in November. And so we have our little mascot Lorenzo, and of course this is the logo, the shield to Stand With Crypto. So love to see it. Thank you, Mason, so much for the support, and so glad you liked your little blankie. So yeah, shout out to Mason. And of course, we want to shout out our third co-host, who's not with us today, but hopefully he can make it on, maybe even for the season finale. We'll see. But Tyler, do you have a photo, Creatress? Because I know we took.
Oh, I had a photo. Yeah, I had a photo with Tyler, but I don't know if I have it I don't have it pulled up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, because Tyler was out there too, which was a big surprise. So there was an opportunity for all of us, the whole There's Layers team, to be together in a long time. And funny enough, last East Denver was mine and Creatrix's first IRL show. So that was a pretty big thing. And so this year we weren't able to do an IRL show, but just to have Tyler there, all three hosts, was pretty special. And did you end up getting to see him in person, Creatrix? You did.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So did
found
I.
it. I found the
You
thing.
found it. You found it. Okay. Cool.
I think we both saw him, but like separately.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cute.
So, he's wearing the noggles, just like Lorenzo, the blue nogs, which I have right here. And then I'm wearing like the custom Little Nouns sweatshirt that I designed,
Cute.
which Ada also got one, and Danny, and we were rocking out. This was the Prof Warder brunch that was like for like
Oh.
the Builders DAO and for Workcast and just any nounish people. So yeah, it was a good
That's right. So I literally saw him before you, and I was able to gift him the socks, the limited edition Sound with Crypto and Lorenzo socks. So me and Keegan were supposed to go to this event, and I forget what happened. We didn't make it out, but I'm glad you were there representing with Tyler and got to experience it. So I love that. Ground game is strong here.
Yeah, we
There's like
gotta like spread, we can't we can't all go to,
divide and conquer. That's how it
divide
works.
and conquer, that's right.
Oh yeah, that I enjoyed that event very much. I had like a stack, a plateful this big. They had like
Yeah, the food was amazing.
insanely good.
They had good food. Yeah, they had brunch for everybody. That was good. So, more brunch events, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, please.
Yeah, speaking of good food, real quickly, the Pudgy Penguin one was a good event too. They had it like at a cafeteria type of place. So there was like seafood, lasagna. There was lasagna, pasta, pizza, ice cream, gelato, sushi, like so many different.
What?
So
Oh, I
they
didn't get invited to that.
a lot of these events, Better Mask had an event too, which had food. So I feel like this Denver, a lot of them had some food. So keep it up, you guys. We love it when we can eat and re-energize at these events, because
Me
that
in particular, especially.
For real.
what's that?
Like now.
Ah. So well,
Things right now.
that concludes season 6 of episode 9. There's layers to this. Thank you again, Danichi and Adabody, for joining us. And I keep saying Danichi, like I don't know, this Italian, like Danichi, like wants to come out. So let me know if you're not okay with that. So
No, totally fine with it. I love it.
Well, anyways, thank you so much. Let's wrap it up with some closing words. So Adabody, Danichi, Creatrix, and then I'll close it out. So any last words?
Last words. Thank you so much for having me on. Thanks so much for this awesome experience. And like Creatrix was saying, anybody who supported in any which way, whether it was just a like, or you were a part of the Little Nouns and you voted, or you came to the performance, there were so many moving pieces, and seriously, just can't say enough. Thank you so much, and have so much gratitude, and just want to keep bringing it and adding more layers to this, because it's going to get more and more complex and amazing, and I'm excited to see how this develops. And yeah, much love.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, but but yes, thank you so much for having us on. It's been great. I've been just laughing the entire time. My cheeks are hurting. But like Ada was saying before, thank you to everyone who shared, who liked our stuff, who supported us, who helped get us there. Thank you so much to the Little Nouns and One Love DAO and Third Planet Studios and Binks. Just like, it was just so many different pieces from so many different angles that made it happen. And it's just feeling very grateful for it all. And so, yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just echo what they said. Thanks to everybody who had any part in it whatsoever, watching, supporting, retweeting, any of it. Also, shout out to our winners, Jenny B, Better Call Zal, and On Chain Music. They all won a little noun. We just announced that today. So we are sending them their own little noun token. They are now going to be part of the DAO. They can vote on future proposals like the one that we won to do this. So yeah, shout out to everybody who supported, and yeah, just stay tuned. I can't wait for the movie, guys. There's gonna be a little Eternal Rhythms movie, or maybe it's just gonna be called Eternal Rhythms movie. But like at this point, I saw 1 minute, but I feel like we have enough content to make like a full length. We play out a movie theater one day.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just stay tuned. I'm just saying this. I just thought of this, but like I don't know. I really enjoy the way that the recap came out, and I can't wait to see more. So y'all stay tuned for next week. We're gonna get more in depth. We're probably gonna show some more footage. So come back and join us next week.
Yes, and with that being said, thank you guys to everyone who tuned in. We had 166 people tuned in onto our YouTube, our X, and we were also streaming on Abstract, the layer 1 blockchain for creators. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely come back again because we love talking about our Web3 toads. And sometimes we talk about skateboarding. And we definitely talk about food, sometimes lasagna, because there's layers to this. We will be back again next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Definitely follow us on our Twitter at There's Layers 2. You can also follow any of us on social, VDizzle777, Creatress Art, Denise, and Body. Follow all of us. We just love the support. And as we keep putting out more content and following our journeys, but yeah, happy Taco Toad Tuesdays. Make sure you eat a taco and pet a toad today. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.